I'm Candace Harris from BoardGameGeek. I'm here with Adam from Funko Games, and we're taking a look at Disney Haunted Mansion. Hey, Adam, how's it
Yes,
going?
Disney Haunted Mansion Call of the Spirits.
All of the spirits. Can you tell us a little bit about the game?
Absolutely. So for anyone who is a fan of the attraction or is familiar with the ride, the parks, this is the signature homage to this attraction. So you are entering the mansion as a guest. You are doing your best to interact with the happy haunts. And it's a set collection game. So you're trying to pair up different cards, right? So there's different art cards. If you collect sets, right? So right now we have the singing busts. If you get all 5, they're worth more points. So
Cool.
you're trying to match up different ghosts. They're all original art. It's gorgeous. And one of the signature unique abilities of this game is that if you see the game board down there, oh yes, Madame Leota, the game board actually has a turntable in the center, and that's how you move around the mansion. So you're always in the endless hallway, which is around Madame Leota's seance chamber, or you're in the seance chamber itself.
Cool.
And then you're always looking out for the hitchhiking ghosts, because they might want to make you a permanent resident of the haunted mansions. You're trying to avoid them as much as possible.
Yeah, they didn't show up too
so
well
gorgeous.
on the green screen. Yeah, it's a gorgeous board. So Adam, can you take us through a sample turn?
Absolutely. So
Cool.
if you see the board here, so part of setup is everyone chooses a color, and then exactly you pick one of those event cards, and this is perfect because it's hitting the green screen just right, so it's a little translucent, a little ghosty. But every round has different effects that affect everyone at the table, as well as it shows you where to move the hitchhiking ghosts. So in this case, we would move the hitchhiking ghosts 3 times in a clockwise motion around the board. There's 6 locations on the board, divided by the dark heavy black lines on the endless hallway. So you would always line them up. And so it actually looks like we have haunt cards on the board, but we actually want the ghost cards on the board. So the ones with Madame Leota on the back, we'll want those on the board instead of the haunt cards. So haunt cards are penalties that you might take by interacting with the hitchhiking ghosts. But to set up, you put 2 cards in the hitchhiking ghost's room, and then in a clockwise manner, you put the number of players plus 3 cards. So this would be 2, 3, 4, and it looks like if we're setting up for 6, we would put out 9 cards. And they would all be face up so that everyone can see what they are. Perfect.
Cool art.
So oh my gosh, the art is stunning. So as those are being flipped over, on your turn, so there are action cards that tell you exactly what to do on your turn, so it's nice and straightforward. You have 3 actions that you can do. So you can move. So you can move in and out of the seance chamber into any of the rooms on the endless hallway. You can rotate the endless hallway. So if you want to show that off, yes.
Ooh.
So it actually, it fits right in the middle there. And then you rotate it around, and that's how you move from room to room while staying in place. And when you take the rotate action, you can move it as much as you want, as far around the circle as you want, so that you end up in the room that you want, or you have some of your opponents end up in a room they might not want to be in. You can collect ghost cards from the room that you're in. So it's 1 card per action, so you can spend all 3 actions collecting cards. You can duel, which is what those gargoyles are on the right side of the board with the numbers in them. You would basically make a bet as to how many haunt cards you are going to take. Win or lose, you're going to take those cards. So Candace, let's say you had one of the singing busts and I really wanted to complete my set. I could say, I'm going to duel you. We would both take those, make a secret bid, and then win or lose, you take haunt cards, which are the little cards, and the person at the end of the game with the most haunt cards takes those penalties.
Ah,
So
gotcha.
yes, you do not want haunt cards. And the way to get rid of haunt cards is you move into Madame Leota's seance chamber, and then you can discard a haunt card. But you can only do that once per turn. So only one of your 3 actions can be discarding one of the haunt cards.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so that's everything. That's what you do. So let's do this. So if you don't mind showing me what the event rule is from that card all the way on the left. So the event that affects everybody, if you end your turn in the seance room, you get to discard a haunt card without using one of your actions. So if you're holding on to haunt cards, this is a perfect opportunity to get rid of them. But starting the game, nobody has those.
Right.
So let's say yellow is going to go first. So there are a number of cards out on the board that are very desirable. So if you see in the upper left room and the bottom right room, they're not matching, but there are 2 different stretching room portraits. So you might want to say, okay, I'm going to go all in on stretching room portraits and try to get those, right? So let's just say, yeah, perfect. So let's just say we're trying to get down to that bottom green room, the bottom right-hand corner, which is part of the ballroom. It's where the organ is in the ballroom, if we remember that scene with all the ghosts dancing around. So if I'm yellow, I can move out of the seance chamber into the endless hallway that corresponds with that room. So you're actually never going to enter the rooms themselves. You're always going to stay on the endless hallway, exactly. So that would be lined up. So that would be 1 action to move. A second action might be to pick up that stretching portrait haunt card. Yep, the ghost card there. So that would go into your play area as part of your collection of ghosts that you've interacted with. And then as a third action, maybe you want to move back into the seance room so that you're safe from the hitchhiking ghosts, which we're going to see demonstrated in just a minute. Or you could rotate the entire endless hallway to set yourself up in a room that maybe you want to be in next turn. And again, you can spin that as far as you want. And then that would be the end of your turn. So that would be 3 actions. And then it would be the next player's turn. So there is the first player marker, which is the beautiful candelabra at the end of the endless hallway.
Oh,
there.
Nice.
That's how you can keep track whose first turn it was. And then let's say red goes next. So red also has 3 actions, so maybe they're going to move to the upper left-hand corner part of the graveyard and get that singing bust, which is always what I'm trying to collect because they're my favorite. So that'd be 1 move. Second action would be to take the card, and then maybe their third action is to take the other card in that room.
Okay.
And that would be their 3 actions. And now let's just play with 3 players. So now blue is going to go. And blue is going to go in the room, in the attic, with the hitchhiking ghosts. So that's the left side. Yep. And that's their 1 move. And then their other 2 are going to be to pick up 2 of those cards.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's what I would do.
Oh, I love that this is against the green screen and that the cards are kind of transparent as they're demonstrated.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Adds to the haunted vibe.
And so some of the cards, so if we actually want to leave that screaming ghost up for a second, some of the cards that you collect have actions on them. So for example, when you pick up this card, if you had haunt cards, you could discard it. So that's what the little eyeball is. It's a haunt. You could discard it when you pick up that card. Now, nobody starts the game with haunts, so right now it's not going to do much for you. But that is something that you might want to keep in mind for the next turn. So those 3 players have gone. We'll ignore the other 3 for sake of time. And so now the first player marker would move to the next person. We would look at the next event card. So that's the one with the 13-hour clock. If you don't mind showing that off to everybody. Beautiful. So the hitchhiking ghosts are going to move 3 clockwise around the room, the mansion. And this is how haunt cards get distributed. So 1, now, yellow is unfortunately on the path. So yellow is going to get a haunt card because the hitchhiking ghosts pass through their room. So now they are stuck with that card until they find a way to get rid of it. Now, if the ghosts ended their movement, you get 2 haunt cards. So if you're in the room where they end, you get 2. If you're in a room that they move through, you get 1. So now the hitchhiking ghosts are going to end their movement. So that was 1. They're going to end on the right side. Yep, right there. And now we're going to distribute more ghosts. So starting with the room that the ghosts are in, we're going to put 2 cards and then +3 the number of players. So if we're playing a 3-player game right now, we're going to distribute 6, 2 starting there, and then the other 4 around the mansion. And we have more singing busts. That makes me very happy. Perfect. And now we're in the second round. So if you don't mind showing me what the special condition is on that event card. Thank you so much. So if you end your turn in the endless hallway, you may immediately move to the seance room. So that, again, similar to the last round, it gives you a free action if you want to do it. It is optional. So I believe yellow went first last time, so let's have blue go first this time. So blue can move to any room or stay where they are. So blue does not have any haunt cards yet, which is very lucky for them. So let's say they want to pick up both of the ghost cards in the attic. So that would be 2 actions, so 1 for each card. And then if you don't mind showing those cards off, let's see if there's any special effects. So in order to get the creepy lady reading the book, you're actually going to draw a haunt card for collecting that card. And the reason is it's worth a lot of points. So you see it's worth 4 victory points at the end of the game. So now you have 1 haunt. Blue has 1 haunt. So they're going to try to get rid of that before the end of the game. And then the other is 1, so there's different card types, of course. There's different kinds of ghosts in the mansion. So this one would be 1 point. And then for every other portrait, so that's what that symbol means, you get 2 points. So right now on its own, it's worth 1. If you start collecting portraits, it's worth more and more. So those are those 2 cards there. And now they could, let's say, they're being very aggressive. And they know that maybe the next round, this is just an example, the next round, the hitchhiking ghosts always move. So let's say they're going to move yellow. So they're going to rotate the endless hallway so that yellow is in one of the spaces next to the hitchhiking ghosts to kind of hope that the ghosts move through yellow's space. Perfect. And they might get haunted. Now, yellow has the opportunity to move, but since the special round condition here is that at the end of the round, you can move into the seance chamber for free, let's do that, because then at the start of Blue's next turn, they could discard that haunt card as one of their actions and get rid of it. So that's Blue's turn. Now red is going to go. So there's a lot of ghost cards in the other half, in the other half of the ballroom there, where the birthday cake is. So let's move red into that section of the endless hallway. So that's 1 action. And then they can take 2 of those cards, any 2. Because it's 1 action per card. So let's see here. What do we got? So we have a stretching portrait. So if you collect 3 pieces of that portrait, and you can tell by the symbol, it's the little parasol. If you get 3 of those, it's worth 15 points. If you get 1 of each of the stretching portraits, which are those other 4 symbols under the 18, it's worth 18 points. So if you're collecting all the stretching portraits, it can be worth 18 points. And this isn't per card. This is 18 points total.
Okay.
And then on the left side, this is an example of one of those portraits. So these are the ones that when lightning strikes, it kind of transforms. So these are the portraits on the wall. If you have one portrait, it's worth 3 points. If you have 2 portraits, it's worth nothing. And if you get 3 portraits, they're worth 12. So let's put those into, I believe we're on Red's turn, Red's hand, and that was 3 actions. So they moved and they took 2 cards. But at the end of their turn, they could move into the seance room for free. One advantage of doing that is that you can't get haunted when the hitchhiking ghosts move if you're in the seance chamber. So now it's Yellow's turn. Yellow is gonna, was it Yellow collecting the singing busts? Gosh,
Yellow is trying to get
they're
the
on
portraits. Yeah.
So unfortunately, there are no portraits out right now. But let's say they want to grab some of those singing busts to prevent the other player from getting all of them. So they're going to pick up the one in the room that they're in, which is the part of the ballroom with the organ. And then they can move 1 space into the room with the hitchhiking ghosts as their second action. Yep, so they can either cross the line or rotate the endless hallway, either way. And then they can pick up another one of those singing busts. Perfect.
Okay.
And then, if they choose to, they can move into the seance room. But let's leave them there for right now. So that's the end of the round. So the first player marker would move to the next player. By the way, as a sidebar, I am the biggest Haunted Mansion fan. I actually have a collection of 14 different Haunted Mansion pop figures that I've been collecting over the years. And they're all in my office lined up. This is my favorite attraction of all time. So I get very excited about this game because it's so much fun.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of love in the chat also about the original Disney ride. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's cool.
So let's do another round. So we've moved the first player marker. So now we're going to reveal the next event card, which is the 13-hour clock. Perfect. So the hitchhiking ghosts are going to move 2 spaces clockwise. So they're going to move into the birthday cake area of the ballroom. Perfect. And then after putting ghosts in the mansion, move all ghost cards in rooms adjacent to the hitchhiking ghosts into their room. So the hitchhiking ghosts are going to suck up a bunch of ghosts into their room. So let's lay out our 6 cards, starting with 2 in the hitchhiking ghosts room. So we got a portrait, we got a scared ghost. That's 4, 5, and 1 more for 6. Perfect. Okay. So now, because of the event, the ghosts are going to pull that card in the attic into their part of the ballroom. Exactly. And when the hitchhiking ghosts move, they didn't cross anyone's path. So Yellow, because they started their turn in the room with the ghosts, they're not going to get haunted by them because the ghosts were leaving.
Whew.
I know. So now I believe Red gets to go first. So Red, let's go get some of those cards in the hitchhiking ghosts room. So let's move into that area. And actually, hold on. Before we do that, does Red have any haunt cards? No haunt cards for them. So they're gonna try to collect some of those ghost cards. So let's have them grab another stretching portrait. So they can try to go for a set of stretching portrait cards. And then let's grab that the one with the purple shirt and see what action is on that card. Excellent. So this is another one of those cards. It's kind of high value by itself. So you're going to draw a haunt card when you get that card. Now, haunt cards in themselves aren't the worst thing in the world. You're going to get haunt cards throughout the game. It's only the person with the highest value of haunt at the end of the game that gets penalized.
Gotcha.
So that's Red's turn. Very good turn, Red. Now we're going to go Yellow. So Yellow does have a haunt card, right? Yes. So they're going to snag one of those ghosts. from the room that they're in as one action. As a second action, they're going to take it in. They're going to move over to the seance chamber. And then in the seance chamber, one of the actions you can do is discard. So they're going to discard that haunt card and get rid of it. Perfect. So that's their 3 actions. Now it's Blue's turn.
Cool.
So let's see. Blue has a stretching portrait. They have one of the grooms possibly and a singing bust. So
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they're diversifying. They're setting themselves up for later in the game. So let's have Blue. Let's put them in the graveyard, the upper left corner, where it's nice and green and smoky. Perfect. And then pick up those 2 cards that are there. So there's no limit to the number of ghost cards that you can have. So the mummy, it's worth 2 points, and move the hitchhiking ghosts 3 rooms when you collect this card. So let's say, hypothetically, there was a character figure in one of the stretching room areas next to the ghosts. So for the sake of demonstration, let's move yellow into the organ room. Yep, perfect. And then because they picked up the mummy, the blue player gets to move the hitchhiking ghosts 3 rooms. Let's have them cross the path of the yellow player. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And now because they cross the yellow player gets their haunt card back. Well, they get another haunt card. They don't get it from the discard pile, but they're stuck with another one.
Ooh,
now, that one's worth 3
one.
haunts, so that's bad. Right, so they're definitely going to want to try to get rid of that at some point. Yep, and then it just lives in their play area.
Cool.
So that was all 3 moves for red. So now we're going to rotate the turn order again and reveal the next event card.
Let's see.
What do we got? So the hitchhiking ghosts are going to move 1 space, and if you end your turn in a room with at least 1 other player, draw a haunt card. So you don't want to interact with each other this round. Yep, so they move there. No one is in that room, so no one gets a haunt card. But now starting with that room, we're going to deal 6 cards because it's 3 plus the number of players. Yep, exactly. 2 in their room. And then the next 3 rooms get 1, or next 4 rooms get 1. Yep. 3.
And Adam, we have a couple more minutes left.
Yes. Are there any questions?
Disney? Yeah. I was gonna ask, is this currently available, and like, how can people get it?
It comes out in 7 days, so October 1st.
Oh.
It is currently on pre-order on Amazon. So actually in the BGG listing, there's a link to the Amazon listing. Fun fact that we're really proud of, the day this hit Amazon, it was in the top 10 of all board games on Amazon.
Nice.
All board games.
That's awesome.
And it has bounced between 1 and 15. So it was actually 1 for a little while. Number 1 selling board game, and that was just in pre-sale. So we know this one's going to be an incredible game.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really fun, and it's beautiful. I love how the hallway, you can rotate, and just the interaction of moving those ghosts around to kind of mess with your opponents a little bit.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for giving us a look at Disney's The Haunted Mansion: Call of the Spirits.